Baruchim haboim, welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Mem Hey Amud Beis, 10 lines from the top. The Mishnah had told us, Shloisha sha'ochlu ke'achas chayovin lezamein. When three people eat a bread meal together, they're obligated to make a zimun. The Gemara discusses, what about when there's two people? Are they able, they're certainly not obligated to make a zimun, but are they able to make a zimun? It's a machlokes amoroim. Says the Gemara, Tistayim, the Rav, the Omar, Im Rotzu Lezamein Ein Mezamnin. Let us conclude that Rav is of the opinion that if two people want to make a zimun, they're not allowed to make a zimun. The Omar Rav Dimi Bar Yosef, Omar Rav, Shloisha Sha'ochlu Ke'achas, V'yotza Echod Mehem Lashuk, Korin Loi Umezamnin Alov. When three people ate together, and one of them leaves and goes out to the shuk. So you can call him, the two can call him, and he can answer, and they can make a zimun that way. Taima dekarin alav. The Gemara makes a diuk is mashma because only they call him to make the zimun. Holoi karin aloi. But if they do not call him, loi, they cannot make a zimun with the two of them alone. Says the Gemara, you have no proof from there. Shiny hasom. The ikba'u bechoiva mikara, because the three of them ate initially together, requiring the zimun as a choiva, and therefore that's why when one leaves to go to the shuk, they want to keep the same level of obligation and thereby make the zimun with all three of them together. Says the Gemara, Elo tistayim Rabbi Yochanan hu the Omar im rotzu lezamin ein mezamin. Let us conclude that Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion that if two want to make a zimun, they are not allowed to make a zimun together. The Omar Rabbi bar Rav Chana Rabbi Yochanan, Shnayim she'ochlu ke'achas, echad mehem yotzei bebirkas chaveiroi. If two people eat together, one can be yotzei bebirkas chaveiroi. Ask the Gemara Vavinam bo. My kamash malam, what is this coming to teach us? Tanina, we already learned. It says, Shoma v'loy ona yotza. If a person heard and he didn't answer, he's yotza. Even though a person needs to hear the words and have in mind to be yotze with the bracha that the mevarach is saying, and the mevarach also has to then also have kavanah to be moitzi, the one that is hearing. Even if the person who hears does not answer Amen, although lichatchila he should, he's yotza. The Omar Rabbi Zera, loymar she'ein birkas hazimun beinehem. Rabbi Zera explains that this means to say that Rabbi Yochanan said that there is no zimun beinehem, meaning to say you do not have a zimun because since each one is making a bracha for the other one. It's mashma that they're not making a bracha together. Zimun means that they're saying nivarech, let us make a bracha. And they're doing it together. Here it's mashma that there's two of them and one is making bracha for the other one. So here it implies that indeed that Rabbi Yochanan holds that two people eat together cannot make a zimun. Says the Gemara, Tistayim, indeed you can conclude that it's Rabbi Yochanan who holds that when two people eat a bread meal together, they cannot make a zimun. Omar le Rabbi bar Rav Huna le Rav Huna veho Rabbanon de osu mimarova amrei im rotzu lezam mezamin. But behold, the Chachamim from the west, meaning from Eretz Yisrael, meaning Rabbi Yochanan, who's from Eretz Yisrael, they said that if they want to make a zimun, even if there are two of them, they can do so. So that contradicts what we just said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Says the Gemara, my love, the Shmiya Luhu, Rabbi Yochanan, isn't this including Rabbi Yochanan, those from the west, from Ma'arava, Eretz Yisrael? Says the Gemara, no, lo. The Shmiya Luhu me Rav, Mikami de Nochis leBavel. This was actually heard from Rav before he moved to Bavel, and therefore it's Rav who holds that you cannot make a zimun, but Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion that two can yes make a zimun together. Gufa, the Gemara brings the same from before. Omar Rav Dimi bar Yosef Omar Rav, Shloisha she'ochlu ke'achas v'yotza echad mehem l'shuk karin lo umezamnin alov. When there are three people who eat together, one leaves, so the two of them could call that third that left and they make a zimun. Omar Abaye, v'hu dekaru loi v'oni, that they call him and he answers. Omar Zutra v'loi amoron ele b'shloisha. That's only if there's 3 they can do this. They can call to a person who's not together with them. So long as he hears them, he can answer back and make a zimun together with them. Aval bi'asara ad denaisi. When it comes to 10, a zimun of 10, then you have to bring that 10th that left together with everybody else. Maskif lo Rav Ashi adarabba ipcha mistabro. The opposite is more mistaber, makes more sense, because tisha nirin ka'asara, shnaim ein nirin kishloisha. 9 is close to 10, and therefore if you look at a group of 9, you don't know that there's 9 or 10. Whereas when it comes to 2 or 3, you see the difference. You see there's only 2 and not 3. So therefore, if 3 works, and you can have one that's not together, and he just answers back, and that's enough to make the zimun, then certainly if you have 9 in one place, and you have one that just answers from afar, that should certainly be able to make a zimun. Says the Gemara, v'hilchasa k'mar zutra. The halach is like mar zutra, indeed, that when you have 9, and then one that's afar, he must come together with the 9 to make the zimun, so that they can say the zimun together. My time, what's the reason? Kivan de boy la'ad kure shem shomayim botzer me'asar lav orach ara. Since they're going to mention Elokeinu, Hashem's name, in the zimun, thereby it's not derech eretz to mention Hashem's name when they're not 10 all together in one place. If there's only 9 in one place and one is afar and he's answering from afar, that's not proper kavod to the Shem Hashem to say Elokeinu in the zimun. Says the Gemara, Omar Abaye, Naktinon shnayim she'ochlu ke'achas mitzvah lechalik. We have a Masorah that 2 people eat together. It's a mitzvah for each one to make their own birkas hamazon. Tani nami hochi. We also have a brisa that says like this: Shnayim she'ochlu ke'achas mitzvah lechalik. They should each say their own birkas hamazon. Ba'amed dvar mamurim. When is this so? Says the Gemara, kisheshneihem soifrim. When they're both capable to say their own birkas hamazon. Aval echad soifer ve'echad bur, but if one is a soifer and the other one is an am ha'aretz who does not know how to say birkas hamazon, then soifer mevarech ubur yoitze. Then the soifer will make the bracha and be moitzi this bur, the am ha'aretz who cannot make his own birkas hamazon. Says the Gemara, Amar Rave, Hamilsa amrisa ano v'tamra mishmei Rabbi Zera kavasi. There's a matter that I said that was said in the name of Zera like me. Shloisha she'ochlu ke'achas. When 3 eat a bread meal together, echad mafsik l'shnayim v'ein shnayim mafsikin le'echad. One is obligated to stop if he's in the middle of eating. After the other 2 finish and they want to make a zimun, that one is obligated to stop and answer to their zimun. He can continue eating afterwards and bench afterwards himself, but he must answer for the 2 that are wanting to say a zimun now. But the opposite, if one wants to make the zimun and the other 2 are still eating, so the one cannot be mafsik the shtayim. That means that the 2 are not obligated to stop in order to answer for the zimun of the one. Ask the Gemara, v'lo v'ho rapapa afsik leila abba bar brei mar brei iu v'chad. Rapapa stopped together with one other person, the 2 of them, for abba bar mar brei. Says the Gemara, shiny rapapa de lifni mishuras hadin hu da ovad. Rapapa is different because he went lifni mishuras hadin. That means mi'ikar hadin, again, 2 do not have to be mafsik for 1. However, if they want to, they certainly can then do so. 1, however, must be mafsik for the shtayim. Mi'ikar hadin. Says the Gemara, Yehuda bar Mereimar, Umar bar Rav Ashi v'Rav Acha. The 3 of them, midifti, the 3 of them were karche rifta behadi adodi. Were eating bread together. Lo have behu chad, the have muflag mechavrei, livruchi lehu. One was not outstanding and more exceptional than the others. The 3 of them were more or less the same in their stature. Yasbi v'ko mi boy lehu. They sat and they asked the following question. Hodis na, that which it says in the Mishnah. Shloisha she'ochlu ke'achas, chayavin lezamein. Hani mili heicha diika adam gadol. Is that only so when there's an adam gadol, somebody who is a greater Talmid Chacham, or somebody who is older in his age? Aval heicha de ki hadadi ninu choluk brachos adif. But if they are more or less the same in their stature, then better that they all say they're independent brachos. Borich inish lenafshe, each one made their own bracha. Also the kamei de Mareimar, they came before Mareimar. Omar lehu yedei birkas bracha yatzosem, yedei zimun lo yatzosem. Mareimar told them, you are yotzei your obligation birkas hamazon, but you were not yotzei your obligation of zimun. You lost the zimun because you didn't say the birkas hamazon zimun together. You say birkas hamazon. They said v'chitemu nahader v'nizman. If you'll say, let us go back and make a zimun, so he said to them, ein zimun lemafrei, you can't. You already said birkas hamazon, you lost the zimun. You cannot go back and say the zimun. Bo matzon kisheim mevarchim mahu oimer achareim. Let's say a person comes to a table where they just finished eating, and he comes and he sits with them. So what does he answer when they're making the zimun? Rav Zvid Omar Baruch Umevarach. Rav Papa Omar Oine Omein. Veloy Pligi, says the Gemara, it's not a machlokes. Depends on when that person arrives to when he hears the zimun. Which words does he hear? Hode Ashkechinu deka Amrei Nivarech. V'hode Ashkechinu deka Amrei Baruch. When he enters and he hears them say, Nivarech Shachanu Mishaloi. So he can't say, he cannot say that he ate, because he didn't eat. So then he can't answer that. So he says, Baruch u'mevarach, Shmoi Tomi Loi Lam Voed. And when he comes in, he hears them say Baruch, and they hear them saying Baruch in the Zimun, so then he answers Amen. That's what the Gemara speaks out. Ashkechinu deka Amrei Nivarech. When he hears them say Nivarech Shachalnu Mishaloi, Oimer Baruch u'mevarach. Ashkechinu deka Amrei Baruch. Then Oiner Amen. Then he answers Amen. The Gemara now goes on to saying about Amen. Tani Chada. One brayso says Ha'oiner Amen Acher Bir Koisov Harezim Meshubach. It's praiseworthy. V'Tanya Idoch. The other brayso says Harezim Megune. If a person answers Amen after his own bracha, it's Megune. So we have a stira. Answers the Gemara Lo Kasha. At the end of Bonei Yerushalayim, then it's considered to be praiseworthy when a person says Amen, because that's the end, the siyum of the Birkas Hamazon, and therefore Amen is appropriate. Others explain it to be because that's going to differentiate between the first three brachos that are D'Oraisa and the fourth bracha which is D'Rabbanan. Whereas if a person answers Amen after their own bracha in a different place, that's considered to be Megune. Abai Ani Le Bekolo, in regards to Bonei Yerushalayim, he would answer Amen to his own bracha out loud. Ki heichi delishmeu poyalim v'likumu, so that the workers, the poyalim, would hear him making that bracha and hear him saying Amen to his own bracha, and then know that it's time to then go back to their work. What about the fourth bracha, Birkas Hamazon? The hatel v'ametiv lav d'oraisa. It's only d'Rabbanan, and therefore they're not able to then mevatel their malacha by saying that additional bracha. Rav Ashi ani lebelechisha. Rav Ashi had a different hanhaga. He would answer his own bracha Bonei Yerushalayim belechisha with a whisper. Ki heichi de lezalzelu b'hatoy v'ametiv. He didn't want people to mezalzel in the bracha of hatoy v'ametiv. And though he needed to answer Amen to his own bracha after Bonei Yerushalayim because it's a siyum, or because he wanted to distinguish between the two, but not at the expense of being mezalzel in the fourth bracha, and therefore he did so b'lachash.